Hi, it's Dr. Erin McLaughlin from Hazeldean Family Chiropractic. Today I'm going to run through an At Your Desk mobility series that you should find very helpful for these working from home days. This series is designed to cover each area that can be under prolonged stress while you're working from home and sitting for an extended period of time. So we're going to do a little bit working from the ankles up through the lower body, the upper body, and finishing with the wrists. And the series is designed to be done twice a day if you can, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. One set of everything that we'll show you, which will just take a few minutes and should really help to relieve tension, stiffness, pressure, and even some discomfort or pain that you might be experiencing from sitting at your desk all day long with few breaks. So we're going to get started with some ankle rotation. So I like to do these just seated with my ankle crossed over the knee. And we just simply will do 5 rotations in each direction, okay? So we're just doing a big circular movement with the ankle, and that's 5, and then we're gonna come back and do it in the opposite direction. So a lot of people's ankles will click and crack a little bit here as you're working the kinks out, which is fine as long as it's not causing you pain, okay? Now we're gonna switch sides and we'll do 5 on this ankle, okay? So as you're sitting all day long, you can even be doing some of these just throughout the day underneath your desk, okay? Just to help keep things moving so we're not getting really, really stiff. Okay, and there's 5, okay? So that's our ankles. Now, while we're in this position, we can just move up to our next stretch, which is for the piriformis, or in the buttocks, the glutes area. So again, you're just gonna sit with your leg crossed over, just above the knee here. Place your hands just flat on your lap, and for this stretch we're going to just lean straight forward, trying to keep the spine nice and neutral, so we're not rounding the back at all. We're leaning forward, and you should feel a good stretch through the buttocks on the bent leg side, okay? And you can hold this stretch for up to 30 seconds. Now a lot of people will find this one really, really difficult, and if you're sitting upright, you may only come a very small amount forward and already feel a big stretch here, and that's okay. Others, if you have a little bit more flexibility, you may be able to go quite far forward into that stretch to really get a good pull. So again, you'll feel it in the glutes, you'll feel it down the hamstring or the back of the thigh. And then of course we're gonna switch sides, okay? So we bring the other leg up, and in fact, you may even just feel enough of a stretch just from bringing your leg up in this position at all. But again, just keeping the back nice and neutral. We're gonna lean forward and just hold up to 30 seconds, depending on how much of a stretch you need, how tight you are. If this is really too difficult right now, don't worry about it, and you can just keep trying it over the coming days and weeks, and really work to increase the flexibility and mobility through your hip, okay? Now, for the next one, we'll focus more on the spine itself, so we can just keep our feet flat on the floor. So this one, if you're familiar with yoga at all, you very likely have done this a lot through yoga, but we're just going to do some simple spine flexions and extensions. So sitting in a neutral position, first we'll start with rounding the spine and then extending it forward. Okay, so I'll turn a little bit on the side here so you can see. So we're gonna start just by rounding forward and down, a nice stretch, and then extending the spine and arcing it the other way. Okay, so that movement, you can do that at a slow and controlled pace, and as your spine warms and loosens up, you can increase the pace a little bit. So just designed to get some nice flexion and extension through your spine. Okay, so once your spine is starting to feel a little warmed up, we'll now move into the front of the shoulders and chest. So this one's pretty simple. We can just interlace our fingers behind the base of the skull or the back of the head and neck, okay? And we're just going to try and bring the elbows back, okay? So here we're gonna be stretching through the front of the shoulder and chest, or the pecs, the pectorals. And this one again is gonna be really tight for a lot of people who are working a lot on the computer, where we really tend to round forward through the shoulders and neck. So by stretching here, holding up to 30 seconds in this position, trying to bring your shoulder blades together and push the elbows back, Okay, you can also do this standing, but since we're focusing on at the desk, this is the best way to do it. You can stand in a doorway as well and stretch the same region, okay? Now, while we're in this position, we can now do some simple spine rotation. So again, fingers are interlocked at the back, and we're just going to gently rotate the spine from side to side. We're not forcing it. And if you do have back pain and this is just too much for you, don't worry about it, okay? So just gentle rotations. You can do 5 rotations per side. So, you know, just to keep things fluid and keep some good movement in the spine, okay? And again, we'll do 5 per side, okay? And if you like, you can hold them, but it's nice just to keep the movement going from side to side. Okay, so spine rotations. Now we'll move up to the neck. Okay, so this is an area where there can be an incredible amount of tension when we're working at a desk, focusing on the computer for many hours or on Zoom calls, on conference calls. The neck and shoulders, I would think, is the number one complaint that a lot of people have when they're coming to see us, just a tremendous amount of pressure and strain here. So a couple of simple movements that you can do for your neck and shoulders. First is just a side to side gentle neck rotation, okay? Again, really not needing to overdo it here. It's just a simple movement side to side. So you're keeping things nice and neutral, and it's just a gentle rotation, okay? So you can do 5 per side for that one. And then the next part of that would be your ear to your shoulder on each side, okay? So just a gentle movement. If you're feeling pinching, pulling, or pain, then you can stop these, all right? And I'll show you another exercise in just a moment that you may find more comfortable. If your neck is cracking or creaking and it just really doesn't feel comfortable, that's okay, just stop. You may notice one side is a lot more flexible than the other. A lot of people have that. But if you are uncomfortable with those, a simpler maybe move that you can do is just to place one hand on your collarbone, okay, so crossing over and take one hand to the opposite side, and you can even use 2 hands, and then simply anchor that down and stretch your neck gently back and away. And you'll really feel a big pull through the front of the neck into the front of the shoulder, and this will likely feel very, very good after a long day on the screens, okay? So leaning back and away. And then the other side, you can just hold this one for 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, so each side, you can do a couple of repetitions if need be, but those 3 movements together, if you can accomplish each one of those, will really leave your neck feeling a lot more mobile and free, and a lot less tension and stress, okay? We know that tension and stress can easily work its way down into the arms and the wrists. Sometimes people are experiencing numbness and tingling into their wrists, carpal tunnel syndrome-like symptoms, when in fact it may not actually be the wrist itself. In a lot of cases, it is stemming from the neck. But to relieve some stiffness in the wrists from prolonged computer, keyboard, mousing, all of that, we can just do some simple wrist rotations. So kind of like with the ankles, just 5 per direction, okay? So now we switch directions and just do some rotations here. And if you don't have a history of carpal tunnel and you know this is okay for you, you can also place your palms together and just press. That's a nice way to stretch things, okay? And again, then you can reach forward and just gently pull back on the fingers and get a nice stretch through the inner forearm, okay? And if that's okay, you can also try inside this way, okay? And stretching to get the outer part of the forearm, okay? So we've pretty much covered full body here in terms of an at your desk stretching program. And as I said in the beginning, it's designed to be done once in the morning, once in the afternoon. You know, as long as you have the time available to get up, you can get up and do some of these standing or on the floor as well and just intensify the stretch. But these are geared specifically for when you are stuck at the desk, stuck in the chair, and you just need to get moving a little bit. So I hope that you found this really helpful. And feel free to share the video, and definitely get in touch with us if you have any questions about either the exercises and stretches in the video, or if you have a concern about a particular area in your body that is causing you some discomfort. We're always here to help.